Most business users today, if they use ChatGPT at all, they use it like a fancy autocomplete. They mash the generate button, then post on LinkedIn that AI will never replace insert job title here, instead of learning to unlock its full potential, and it's costing them time, money, and opportunities. I've spent nearly 3 years helping businesses adopt AI, and in this video, I'm breaking it all down into the 13 most important things you need to know when using ChatGPT for business. We'll cover how to pick the right models for the job, the biggest mistake companies make when rolling out AI, how to use it for real business insights, not just basic prompting, plus some new game-changing features that most people are not even aware of yet. And trust me, the last couple we've got here, it will completely change how you think about AI and your workflows. And what we're talking through is not just theory. It comes from hands-on real-world lessons I've used from integrating AI into the workflows of my own companies and over 1,000 small businesses that I've worked with in the past couple of years. So whether you're just getting started or you're a guru, I promise you're gonna get something juicy from this one. But we gotta get into it. You're a big important business person. So number one, go with the team plan. Quit overthinking it. ChatGPT team, $30 per user per month. You're gonna get some team-specific features we're gonna talk about a little later. But most important, your prompts, the things you give ChatGPT, they aren't trained into the model on this plan. And there's still a lot of security spookies out there about AI. Stories of business data being trained into the AI model. And that's because when ChatGPT first launched, everything was trained into the model, but that's no longer the case. In fact, on the team plan, nothing is ever trained into the model, and it even comes with SOC2 Type 2 security, making it more secure actually than a whole lot of other business apps that are now commonplace. Number two, know your models. Once you're into ChatGPT, the single most important thing to pay attention to is this guy. Right up here, makes all the difference in the world. This is the model that you're talking with. ChatGPT, it's just an interface. Behind it are a number of models that you interact with. And different models are good at different things. But today, I really only want you touching 2 different models. The first is GPT 4.5, but you only get to use so much of that. So if you do hit the usage limit on 4.5, go back to 4.0. And then the other model I want you using is the best reasoning model on the list, O3 Mini High. Now, these first 2 models, wasn't that 3 models? Yeah, no, so those first models that I gave you, these 2 models are what are called foundational models. They respond instantly, they're good at creative stuff and riffing on ideas, but in my experience, for most business applications, what you really want is a reasoning model. That's what this O3 model is, and the difference is that it takes time to process its response, thinks about it, kind of assesses the information before giving you a more correct and more complete answer. As opposed to foundational models, which are like, Gary, watch this. Gary, what's the capital of Nova Scotia? Saskatoon. Look at him, just dripping with confidence. Does he know that much about Canadian stuff, or did he just make that up? At this point, I'm no closer to an answer than where I began. Foundational models, they're fast, but can I trust them? Whereas reasoning models, they think. In fact, you can even see them think. They analyze their own response to ensure that it's reasonable before giving me an answer. And because in business, you're often working off of some source of truth, reasoning models, which honestly are now less than 6 months old, they offer a huge upgrade because they're better at sticking to that source of truth. Okay, up next, be very clear. Prompt in a very explicit way. I recently saw a marketer on LinkedIn generate landing page copy with ChatGPT and then make fun of how bland it was. It's worth understanding. Each bit of text generated by an AI model is produced according to the probability of what comes next in all of its training data. So if I just say, make landing page copy, it is by definition going to be the most basic vanilla average landing page copy you've ever seen. Can I go now? Yes. So we need to clarify how we want the AI to work, or give it an example. Now, AI nerds really like to geek on prompt engineering, and here's my prompt framework. And swipe this 10,000 word prompt template. In my opinion, it's completely overkill. Stuff like this. These are all different frameworks for how to write your prompt. I'll be honest, I don't get excited about stuff like this. I think of it more like giving instructions to a human. What should the tone be? What context matters would they need to know to do this correctly? How long does the thing need to be? We get mad at other humans because they can't read our minds when we don't give them clear instructions. We do the exact same with AI. So just tell the AI what to do, like you would tell a human. And if you forget a detail, unlike the human, I can give it that additional detail and then not feel bad about telling it to go out and do it all over again. All right, this is a biggie for business users. Don't trust the model. Models are trained on loads of data, but it's a mishmash of a whole bunch of different things. As a professional user, I usually know what the actual source of truth for something is. It could be a government regulation, a contract, a software help center. So for most use cases, I at the very least want to force ChatGPT to gather info from the web before responding by clicking this browse button. If I don't, it's just gonna rely on its training data, which frankly, I don't wanna have to trust. Now I can take this even a step further by giving it a link to a website, the name of the authoritative source it should go to, but I should never just blindly trust the model for anything factual. This is the leading source of hallucinations because it's simply relying on its training data. But by pointing it to the source materials you want it to use, and with the power of reasoning models, still very new, you now drastically reduce the risk of it making something up. And this is where things start to get really, really interesting. Let's talk about file uploads. We've now got this AI with reasoning models that can stick really, really well to any source we provide it with, right? So I can point it to the web, point it here or there, but that source of truth can also be something I have. Don't forget, we can upload here anything from Excel files to slide decks to PDFs to meeting transcripts. If you've got the info, just give it the info. And in fact, one thing you may not realize, even in situations where you can't get your hands on the info, like this, data that some numpty colleague just sent me in the body of an email for some reason. I can't download this, it's part of the conversation. I could give it a screenshot, upload an image, but ChatGPT isn't great yet at perfectly pulling text from an image. But if I literally just copy paste in this mess of text, it can make perfect sense of it. Here it pulled every single item perfectly, and Bob's your uncle. What, Bob? Can you give me the Wi-Fi password again? It's on the fridge, Bob. Freeloading uncle. Okay, let's talk about file downloads. Similar to how we can upload many types of files to ChatGPT, we can create a growing number of files with ChatGPT. So it just gave me all of these items, right, from the email. If I want them in a CSV or in an Excel spreadsheet, I just tell it, turn this into an Excel spreadsheet. And just like that, I got a download link to work with that stuff in Excel. Now, your mind is probably spinning at all the ways that you could use this. It's on the fridge, Bob. Which is why the biggest adoption mistake I see businesses make is that business leaders, they'll go and they'll play around with AI, but they don't open up access to the rest of the team. And the consequences of this may be bigger than you think, because the opportunity today is not, could we hire an AI instead of a human for that open job role? The opportunity is, can we make literally every member of our team more productive and get more of their time back? Because I would much rather have more time from the team that I already have. You know what I mean? In most cases, you'd rather have more time from the people you already have than have to train somebody new. And if you have sticker shock, the notion of giving everyone on your team this $30 a month subscription, consider what those people's time is worth. Like, what's their effective hourly rate? They're gonna make up that 30 bucks real quick. Okay, halfway through, if you're new here, welcome. Subscribe. If you have any questions, drop a comment, send me an email. That's my real email. Or have me in for your next event or company training or something. I don't know, shoot me a message. Remember how I said we saved the best for last? It's true, you're gonna like it. Real quick, images, ChatGPT, it'll make images. They kinda suck, like this one. That doesn't look real. But word on the street is they're about to get much better. Probably more relevant to most of you, writing. Anytime you're using ChatGPT for writing, be sure it looks like this. This is a canvas. You can force it to use a canvas when you start a conversation. There's an option here to select. Or actually mid-conversation, I can say, pull this into a doc I can edit in Canvas. Now see it's generating this doc, I expand it, and we've got that side-by-side view. And that's really the benefit of Canvas, is you have chat alongside the document. Rather than the document being in the chat stream, I can make changes directly to the canvas, or I can tell the AI on the side here to make revisions. A few other really nice things about Canvas. I can select any text and ask it to make revisions. I can come down here, ask it to suggest edits. I can change the length with this slider. Look at this, uppy downy. I can change the reading level with this slider, have it add some polish, and never use this button. There's no reason to. Here's another new one, projects. Projects let you attach files and provide custom instructions. This comes in handy if you regularly come back to a set of documents, or set of rules, collection of contracts, something like that. You can organize that into a project, and then all of the conversations you have inside of that project will see into those files. You can also do some cool stuff with the custom instructions. Like if you always want it to talk to you a certain way, but only sometimes, I could build that into the custom instructions in a project. And it's almost like changing the conversation mode of your ChatGPT when you're in that project. But I can tell you honestly, the way that I use projects, they're basically folders. Look at this. You drag your conversations into them. It's also just like a nice way to keep organized so that the conversations on the left-hand side just aren't a dumpster fire. Okay, here's a sneaky good feature that you may not realize ChatGPT has. It can write and execute code to perform tasks for you. I don't know how to code. This is like a personal Python assistant. It will write and generate that code. So, example, here's a CSV of 1,000 combined first and last names. The text is all mushed together, but I need first, last, and middle separated into their own fields. And all I'm gonna tell ChatGPT is write some code to separate these names into first, middle, and last. So you see it writes all the code, and then it runs the code. And here's the output. How cool is that? I mean, there's so many ways that you can use that. From just wrangling ugly data to reformatting data from like the format of one system into the format it needs to be imported into another system. Think about that. If you got a recurring process that looks like this can be built into your SOPs. Literally in your documentation, here's how to use ChatGPT to convert this file from format A to format B. And this actually just got way juicier because less than 2 weeks ago, they unlocked this data analysis feature for reasoning models. You know, the ones that don't make stuff up. That's a big upgrade. It's frankly a huge deal for business users, and nobody's talking about it. Like this personal assistant who can just, okay. Last two ChatGPT features, but something to think about because AI is constantly changing, and this video, by the time it goes live, it's already out of date. In fact, I'll pin a comment below to tell you all of the things that I've said here that have since been made incorrect by AI releases. But consider, how are you building AI education into your info diet? We are well and truly programmed by what we consume, by the things that we read. And so it's important that you find a few trusted sources that will continue giving you headlines like the important updates about AI, not just like shilling AI products or pumping out AI hype. Now, I write a weekly newsletter each Wednesday. I tell you basically if there's any new developments that could save you time this week. Like I got overwhelmed by just all the hype and I'm like, just tell me if there's something that I should do right now, yes or no. Find a few sources like that and you will never be surprised by AI. You're gonna be the one riding the wave. Okay, here we go. The 2 best features for business users. Create your own custom GPTs. And on this team plan, I can make that GPT and share it with everybody else in my organization that's on that same team plan. So here's how they work. Basically custom assistants for doing very specific jobs. So an example, we made an HR bot. Here it is, you give it a name, you give it a description. We're gonna attach our employee manual and actually a meeting script from the other day when Jim tore the team a new one and made up a whole bunch of new policies on the spot. I'm gonna give the assistant some instructions, just answer questions based on the knowledge I've provided, provide exact quotations when it makes sense. And now, over here I can test it on the right-hand side. If you chat with this assistant, it'll answer my HR questions according to our HR documentation, according to that knowledge that I uploaded. And this is the killer thing for business users. I can come up here and I can share that custom GPT with everyone in my organization, which means when they log in up here on the top left, they're gonna see our organization's custom GPTs, which has saved our real HR person, Patty, who'd become known for her weekly Patty meltdowns. It has saved her a whole lot of headaches, hasn't it, Patty? Oh, looks like we got Patty Cake Wednesdays back, all right. This is exciting, right? So much you can do with custom GPTs, but they come with an important limitation that you gotta understand. Look up here, what's missing? Where the H is the model selector. Today, you don't get to choose the model you talk with when you're using a custom GPT. In fact, in the background, they're still using the old 4.0 model. That's a foundational model. It's not a reasoning model. Remember him. Saskatoon! Now the 4.0 model, it's pretty good at reliably fetching information from a document. Not as good as a reasoning model. So it is honestly a bit of a trade-off, but probably still good enough, especially in situations where you wanna make a GPT that you can share with the rest of your team. Okay, last, the piece de resistance. In my opinion, this is the only AI update of the year that rises to the level of something that literally every knowledge worker should be testing. Like, that is not hyperbole. I think it's that big of a deal. It is ChatGPT's deep research. Now, on the team plan, You currently get 10 free deep research queries per month, and I hope that number goes up because I'm using it for so many things right now. On the $200 a month Pro plan, you get over 100 queries a month. Just be aware that on the Pro plan, you don't get the same data protections that you do on the Team plan. Now, what's deep research? So it goes out and it works on a problem for you upwards of 10 minutes at a time. And it'll return back to you with a 3 to 6 page paper about its findings. And when this was introduced a few months ago, we very quickly saw PhD level people were reporting back like this thing was incredible. Basically in 10 minutes, it could put together a body of research that could otherwise take upwards of a week of work for a normal human. But I don't need a researcher myself. In fact, I can hardly spell PhD. The deep research name, gang, it is awful marketing and has caused this feature to go under the radar because for non-business users, like, what are you even gonna use this for? Winning an argument with my wife. To be fair, hard to put a price on that. But here's the wild thing for business users, is I can also upload files directly to deep research for it to analyze. So just run that on my own information. So for example, let's say I got a spreadsheet of sales and retail locations. I can have deep research look for general or very specific insights in my data. I can put financial statements in here. Ask it for like general insights as kind of a business advisor, or investigate something very specific. I am finding new use cases for deep research every day. Actually, when I write things now that are dependent upon other context, like say a 500-word memo that's based on a 45-minute meeting transcript, or a blog post that's based on an hour-long podcast. I now use deep research for this because it does a much better job of sticking to the context I give it, and it makes really interesting connections since it works on that problem for longer. If you take one thing from this video, I implore you, go try deep research. I've seen it impress a lot of very hard to impress people. Now, ChatGPT, it's just the tip of the AI iceberg. It is already dramatically impacting businesses. Like, the AI thing is real, which means it's more important than ever before to build a business plan for the future that's AI proof, that leans into what AI enables while preventing you from being displaced by AI. But here's the good news, is I'm gonna show you how to do that right up here.